Question. What kind of bear is best?
That's a ridiculous question.
False. Black bear. Fact. Bears eat beets.
Oh.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Bears do not...
Puke. What's with the hair? You got aspirin?
You should feel better momentarily, and your memory will slowly return.
Puke. What's with the hair?
The specific...
Yeah, Bob. You remember Bob, the guy that's gonna launch a nuclear attack? You got any more abuse you want to hurl my way? Or are you ready to go in here and take care of Bob?
What do you propose, Bob?
When in doubt, C4.
Howdy, howdy! It's your favorite crazy little penguin named Bob here, and we got a few things we're going to talk about today on Penguin Thoughts. But before we get started, if you're wondering, you're new to this and you haven't really ever watched this podcast before, and obviously I'm Bob, I'm a penguin. That's why it's called Penguin Thoughts, because it's the shots I share. So, what exactly is Penguin Thoughts? Well, glad you asked. Here it is.
You're listening to Penguin Thoughts. These are the thoughts that penguins are thinking when they were thinking that they were thinking about the thoughts they were thinking when they were thinking them. That is, we think.
Okay. Now that you know what Penguin Thoughts is, let's get into what we want to talk about here today. Well, first off, if you don't already know, this little penguin is a gamer. I'm not the best gamer, but I have in the last week and a half or so, I noticed that the annual Game Awards came out, and I'm normally not interested in that stuff because most of the time it's geared toward consoles. I'm really a PC gamer. Plus, not to mention, a lot of times, and this year is no exception, most of the games in it I'm just not interested in. They're not my type of game. However, there was one particular game that just absolutely blew me away. And it's by the same developers that I love that play my favorite, that have my favorite all-time game that I like to play quite often. And I've streamed it on Twitch. I've streamed it on YouTube. And it's a thing called No Man's Sky. And this particular game, now this isn't new. This game's been around for years. Matter of fact, just as a side note right now, it is on sale on Steam for half off. But this is my all-time favorite game right now. It's normally $60. It's for $30 right now. But the developer is named Hello Games. This game came out in 2016, and they're talking like they're still going to do free updates again. I mean, they've been doing free updates ever since it came out. Now, first, when it came out, the game wasn't all that great, but Sean Murray and his group of developers there at Hello Games has really gone above and beyond and made this game something awesome. And they've been giving out free updates like all the time. And actually right now during the holidays, they're doing their Expedition Redux. Basically, that means you can go through the last several expeditions throughout the year that you can go through them again, which I may do that some because I really love this game. Anyway, developers of No Man's Sky, Hello Games, has created another game. This is No Man's Sky's devs working on open world games simulating the whole planet. The game is called Light No Fire. And it has you riding dragons and exploring a giant fantasy type world. It's very procedurally generated. In that respect, it's very similar to what No Man's Sky is like, because No Man's Sky is procedurally generated as well. It says here that Hello Games is working on something completely new after spending years updating No Man's Sky, and they're going to continue to update No Man's Sky into 2024. I can't wait to see what comes next for that game. But this new game that they're going to be releasing, which there is no release date yet, called Light No Fire, and is promising a massive fantasy world that's procedurally generated that you can explore together with other players. And if they do like what they did with No Man's Sky, it'll be available on all platforms, and it'll have crossplay so you can play with each other no matter what platform you're on. Director Sean Murray is already promising mountains bigger than Everest. And you can actually, we're going to watch the trailer here in a minute, but you can actually really tell from the trailer that it has in my opinion, I see aspects of No Man's Sky in it. Even though it doesn't look like No Man's Sky, it feels like it has that same type of feel to it. The procedurally generated, the beautiful scenery and environment you get into in the game, in the game and so forth. So unlike its cosmic space exploration sim, cousin No Man's Sky, basically, Light No Fire is a survival role-playing game where players can adventure across an entire planet in search of, well, we don't know exactly, all different kinds of things, I imagine. You appear to play as an anthropomorphic creature in sort of a Red Wall meets which I don't know what Redwall is, but Lord of the Rings Fellowship-style journey across a vast wilderness. And I just really can't wait to see. But before I continue on, I'm going to read all this article. It's all the articles and videos and stuff that I'm showing today, including even some of the content creators on YouTube, are all down in the description of this podcast and this video, so you can go and look into them yourself. And I encourage you to do that, especially with the YouTubers that I'm watching their stuff today. I encourage you to go watch their stuff, go to their channels and check them out. But anyway, let's actually go on Twitter, actually called X, and let's hear from the man himself, Sean Murray, at the Game Awards, of what exactly Light No Fire is going to be. Make sure I got sound up.
That right there was No Man's Sky, a game we announced 10 years ago with this guy right here, Sean Murray. Sean, looks like the content keeps rolling in 2024.
Yes,
but
it does.
What does the next decade look like for Hello
That game is so cool.
To start with, next year is going to be a really big year for No Man's Sky. Like you said, I've been working on it for 10 years now, and I still really love it, still really enjoy it. But what people don't know is that for the last 5 years, we've been working on something new.
Another game.
Yeah, something very different, something maybe more ambitious. You know, for...
Here we go. Tell us a bit about it, Sean.
Well, for No Man's Sky, we generated a whole universe of kind of sparse, alien-looking planets.
Yeah.
And that wasn't easy, you know, it was hard, but there is something that's much harder that we wanted to do. For our new game, we wanted to create an Earth, you know, something as varied, a planet that is as varied as a universe, something bigger than Earth, something with, you know, mountains, real mountains, not video game mountains, but mountains that are miles high, taller than Everest.
That we can probably climb
to the top of them and look out, you can see rivers and canyons and continents. You know, you can see oceans.
So is this like an open world planet kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, the first real open world, right? Something without boundaries. And we're going to let everyone play in it together. It's, you know, a place where people can live out their sort of adventures together.
I love that idea.
Wait to take a look at it. We have anything tonight or future? Or?
Yeah, so we have a trailer. And, you know, it's quite a small team that's working on it. Yeah. There's about a dozen of us. Actually, everyone's here. Everyone from the team is here. There
you are, a small developer
We're very
group.
excited to share this. You and I have been talking about this one for years.
Yeah, we're super nervous, you know, but really excited. If, you know, if people like it, this is a game I would like to still be updating 10 years from now.
All right, so Game Awards 2033. We'll be back. But no, let's take a look. This is such an incredible project, and I'm honored that we get to show it off. Should we do it, Sean?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go.
I'm going to play the trailer here in a minute, but I want to skip back to where he's talking. I forget where it's at. Oh, okay. They must have cut that off. All right. Here's the actual trailer. I'm showing this on Hello Games Tube, which is Hello Games' official YouTube webpage of a YouTube channel. And I am going to play the trailer here. You are going to be absolutely blown away like I was when I first saw this. I can't wait for this game to come out. It is, I feel like this is No Man's Sky's bigger brother that's just going to come, kick butt, take names in the gaming industry. Oh, man. Anyway, there we go. Look at that skeleton there. Oh, man. This is all game footage, by the way. Look at that. Just amazing. Fly around on a dragon or cut down trees. Build. It looks like you get to build like houses and probably villages and stuff. Flying around on a hummingbird. Look at this. Oh my goodness. How cool is that going to be? There's boats down there. Wait a minute, you see that? There was something floating up in the sky. Look at that, right there. I don't know what that is, but it looks so cool. Like you can, I imagine it's going to be just like No Man's Sky. You can build anywhere. Oh, there it is. It's even closer looking. Obviously, there's going to be weather systems and stuff. I mean, just look at this. It's just amazing. There's going to be riding animals, it looks like. Look at all the bunnies. They're warrior bunnies. Oh, I can't wait. Oh man, I'm telling you right now, there's not many games that I get all pumped about, but this one right here, when I first saw this released, the trailer, I was beside myself. It's like, oh, I know how much I love No Man's Sky. I play it on and off stream. I play it when I want to chill and relax. I'll flip on Netflix and jump into No Man's Sky and just explore and stuff. I can see myself doing that in this game as well. Except for this is not a space sci-fi game. This is a sci-fi fantasy game like Lord of the Rings type stuff. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so good. I just can't, it's just amazing to me. Oh. Here is their website. You can go to it right now. This is a link, once again, down in the description, called lightnofire.com. And there's about 3 other games I want to talk about briefly as well. But this is the first one. This is the one that really's got me jazzed. I really want to play this game bad. I'm telling you. And actually, it shows the trailer. Let's skip the trailer. We'll come back to it. And you can wish list it. It's up on, obviously, it's going to be up on Steam. Planned release date's not announced yet. But it's just like, it's going to be a multiplayer Earth, procedurally generated, fantasy, unexplored parts of it. It's just going to be amazing. I just can't wait. I mean, look at these pictures. Now, most of those are all from the trailer, but it's just amazing the way this game looks. It kind of reminds me, like I said, of No Man's Sky if it was set in a fantasy world. But just the mere fact that it just procedurally generated, which means more than likely you're not ever going to be able to find everything because it's constantly changing on you. Light No Fire is a game about adventure, building, survival, and exploration. Set a fantasy planet the size of Earth. It brings a depth of role-playing game to the freedom of a survival sandbox. And like Sean said in the announcement there, he wants it to where basically you feel like you're living in this video game with your friends and so forth. And I could just, I can't get over it. Obviously, now it just shows Steam right here, but I know how Hello Games is. I don't know what it's going to be like when they release. They haven't given a whole lot of details about all this. I haven't looked up and see on the press sheet if they mentioned what all platforms it's going to be on when release is. But I will say this much. If I had to guess, probably at release, it's going to definitely be available on PC, maybe PlayStation and Xbox, and then maybe some of the other platforms like Switch or something like that will come later, like Mac and Switch. Who knows? But they also been working on this for 5 years, so they may already have it developed for all the different platforms that they're going to do. It's just, can't get over it. All right, switch gears here to the next little game that I've actually recently been playing on December 7th. Now, I never would have thought I'd hear myself say that I play Fortnite, because I'm not really a Fortnite type person. I don't really like the Battle Royale stuff. So I was leery when Epic Games released Lego Fortnite, but I love Lego games. But when I found out that the Lego Fortnite was a survival building type of game and not like Battle Royale, and it's going to be a permanent game mode that came out on December 7th, I gave it a try. And it's free, just like Fortnite is. You don't have to pay anything for it. It's actually just a game mode inside Fortnite. I'll play the trailer here for this. Matter of fact, there is already a couple of streams that I've streamed this up on my YouTube channel that you can go and find if you want to go watch my gameplay of it and what I've started doing with it. And I'm probably going to continue to stream it a couple more times until I get to a certain spot in the game or something and switch games. Because I'm a variety gamer. I don't like to stay on one game too long, with the exception of maybe No Man's Sky. But even then, I had to change things up periodically. So anyway, let's make sure my sound's on. Let's watch this one. And they obviously worked with Lego to produce this, because it's got the feel of a Lego. My internet is all, either the internet or the website. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's watch it on YouTube instead. That's the crafting bench you have to use to like gather resources and craft and everything. And then there's also like wolves and wild boar and all that kind of stuff that you can hunt down as well. Now, I've done, I haven't gotten this far, but I imagine, you know, you can play with your friends and really get like a whole city built and stuff. And go on no adventures because the maps in it are pretty large. A lot of fun, actually. And it plays just like a Lego game. I mean, it's what it is. It's just kind of chill, relaxing, and kind of fun. Except for the bugs, they're annoying. Yeah, there's caves to explore, and there's skeletons. And I've seen one of these, but I haven't fought one yet. I don't know what that is either. There you go. Lego Fortnite. Pretty fun game. Another game that I really like the idea of, I haven't played yet, is a game called The Finals, and it's free to play as well. It's up on Steam. It came out on December 7th as well. And the main thing I like about it is it feels like a Battlefield game, and actually the developers from this, Embark Studios, they used to work on Battlefield, I think, if I remember correctly. And it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe like Fortnite meets Battlefield. But the biggest thing I like about it is there is this world that you're in that everything is destructible. I mean, quite literally, you could power up in the game, I guess, and run into a building, and you do it enough, you'll take the whole building down, no matter how big it is. Which just sounds extremely insane. Which I love the sound, like the thing, the idea of that. And actually, there's a game I used to play. What was it called? Like Red Gorilla or something like that. That actually had, you went around with a sledgehammer. You could actually throw TNT on buildings and use a sledgehammer, knock down walls, and everything in the game was pretty much destructible. That's kind of the premise here. With the exception of it's also, you know, gunplay. It's a first-person shooter type thing. I don't know if it's a battle royale. I don't think it is. It's more just like a first-person shooter type that has tournaments, of course, but not the same thing as battle royale. Battle royale normally has like a shrinking map and other things to it that you start off with nothing. This, I think you start off with weapons and not that I'm really good at any of this, but hey, if I don't have to pay for it, it's a free game. And so it's one of those things that I kind of want to check out. And then the last game that I saw, this is a game called I Am Jesus Christ. And my ad blocker, my profanity blocker, changed the name on it, so I had to undo that. But if you look right here, you know, I want to check out the trailer on it.
Lord, my hour has not yet come.
You get to play as Jesus, basically.
Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. My hour has not yet come. Go away. What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth?
Walking on water, dude.
I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home.
That was the paraplegic guy.
Be quiet, Jesus said sternly.
Preacher in the synagogue.
Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, Tell me to come to you on the water. Come.
Finally, we are meeting.
Fasting.
The Son of God.
Wow. And actually, right now on Steam, you can actually go and play the prologue. The prologue is actually free. It's like the first little bit of it. It's like a demo. As you can see, it's actually...
Many people have attempted.
Turn off the thing here. You're basically playing standalone game, full version. This is the actual introduction to the full version of the game, which hasn't released yet. But I am definitely interested in checking this out. And I may check out the prologue before then, which you can play right now if you wanted to. Like I said, link is down in the description. I just found this game interesting as well. Being someone that I love Jesus, I'm a Christian penguin. And drink water and the wine looks like right there. I just think it's cool that you actually get to step into the shoes of Jesus in this and kind of experience a little bit of what he went through. That's depicted in the Bible. So, anyway, there you have it. There's some games that I'm definitely 100% interested in that I may be checking out. So, let's switch gears here. And since we're still talking about gaming, there is a situation that happened about, I want to say like 2 days ago. And this is a article on Polygon about Insomniac Games. If you don't know who Insomniac Games is, they're the developer that made like the Marvel Spider-Man game and the Marvel Miles Morales game, and also the Marvel Spider-Man 2 game that just recently came out on PS5. And they are working on a Wolverine game as well, as you can see right here. Well, apparently they have been hacked. And they're aware of reports that Insomniac Games has been the victim of a cybersecurity attack. The Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine developer Insomniac Games has reportedly been hacked by a ransomware group looking to auction the data off. The notorious group called the Rashida is looking for 50 Bitcoin, or basically $2 million. They're holding a bunch of information and threatening to release it to the general public over the internet if they don't get the Bitcoin and the 2 million that they want in Bitcoin. The auction's posted up on its website. Sony Interactive, who owns Insomniac Games, is looking into the reported hack. It says right here that they made a statement. Says, we are aware of reports that Insomniac Games has been the victim of a cybersecurity attack. A Sony representative told Polygon, we are currently investigating the situation. We have no reason to believe that any other Sony or Sony divisions have been impacted. Rashida posted a collage of screenshots on its website. Purportedly, it's proof to the breach. The information published appears to include emails between Insomniac staff, employment documents like passports and so forth, and government documents, even screenshots from the Wolverine game that's coming up, as well as even voice audio files of the voice actor Yuri Lowenthal from Spider-Man 2. It says right here that it happened because of a ransomware. I'm guessing what's happened is, this is why it's so dangerous. The internet is not a safe place. And I'm coming from looking from an IT perspective. It doesn't take much. All it takes is some employee at Insomniac Games who got an email that opened up an email. Don't even have to click on anything in the email nowadays. They could have sent a Trojan or ransomware type piece of software that the minute they opened that email, it started infecting that system. And then next thing you know, it's spreading out on the internal network there and sending all that information and stuff that they're finding as kind of like a data dump and calling back home. That's actually how malware and ransomware works. And gives your information out. In this case, it gave out all the information from like government, from the employees of government documents and so forth like that, even screenshots and audio files and stuff to this hacker group. And there is a YouTuber, excuse me, that I have been watching for some time. She's actually been in the gaming space for a very long time. And her name is Melonie Mac. And I like her because she's also a Christian. Matter of fact, she's even got a YouTube channel called Bible Time with Melonie Mac, which is kind of cool. I've watched some of her videos, as well as her main site is Melonie Mac Go Boom. And she actually has a video that I thought we could watch and talk about on the hackers threaten Insomniac with leaking Wolverine game info. Okay. Sorry, I had to check something real quick. So, let's watch what Melonie Mac's got to say. About 11 minutes. We'll watch this, and I'll pause it periodically and talk about things, so forth. I did get permission from her to be able to review some of her content. Plus, I encourage you to go over to her main site, Melonie Mac Go Boom, and give a like or subscribe. Link to this video and her YouTube channels are down in the description. So check her out. And actually, if you like what I'm doing here, I encourage you also to like and subscribe to my channel as well. It really, especially liking, it really helps the algorithm. And hopefully I have earned your loyalty and your trust from this crazy little silly penguin that you want to find out more about what this penguin has thoughts about. Because I do this podcast every week at the same Bat Penguin time, same Bat Penguin channel, my YouTube channel called What About Bob. And this is Penguin Thoughts, and it's at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It goes for maybe about 2 hours normally. What I like to normally do. Anyway, so let's watch this.
So Insomniac has apparently been hacked, and the hackers are demanding money within the next 7 days, else they will leak information about the upcoming Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing I forgot also, that they did this like 2 days ago, the hack, and they're giving them exactly 7 days for Insomniac Games to respond. They give them the $2 million in Bitcoin, or they're going to release the information to the upcoming game Wolverine, as well as like employee documents and things like that. Messed up world we live in.
Wolverine open world title. Let's dive into this video. This is kind of funny, I guess. Yeah, we're just gonna dive in, and then I'll share some of my opinions on things. So I saw this from Culture Crave on Twitter, where they said Insomniac has reportedly been hacked by people who claim to have info on the hashtag Wolverine game, including unrevealed Marvel characters. They're giving Insomniac 7 days to pay them $2 million before releasing it all. Let's go ahead and just, I wanted to find an actual article to get the scoop on it. Unfortunately, we got to go with IGN here. I felt like it was better than going with Polygon or Kotaku, so, you know.
I used the Polygon one. I read the IGN one as well as the Polygon one. I didn't read the Kotaku, but nevertheless, I decided to go with the Polygon one because I wasn't going to read the whole thing, but it gave me enough to be able to, like, a jumping off point to talk about it.
Let's do this. So it looks like they do have an update. They said Sony has acknowledged today's report of a security breach at Insomniac and said it is investigating. It added that it does not believe any other Sony Interactive Entertainment or Sony divisions were affected. The SIE statement in full issued to IGN. We are aware of reports that Insomniac Games has been the victim of a cybersecurity attack. We are currently investigating this situation. We have no reason to believe that any other SIE or Sony divisions have been impacted. Hold on, I have to get a drink because I'm almost past this. I mean, I feel like I really am past this cold, but my voice.
Actually, that's a good reminder. So sip them if you got them, peoples. I'm going to sip some iced coffee real quick. Thank you, Melonie Mac, for reminding me to sip my iced coffee. All right.
This is still affected. All right, so here's the original story. Let's see what's going on. I'll share my opinions on what I think they should do, as well as, just the state of gaming and in general, and what I think if this would actually harm them, all that kind of stuff. So here's the original story. A ransomware group has allegedly hacked Marvel's Spider-Man 2 developer Insomniac and put stolen data up for sale. The Rysida ransomware group claimed to have breached Insomniac, obtaining information on the upcoming Wolverine game as well as private staff information. IGN has asked Sony for comment. According to Cyber Daily, Rysida posted limited data to back up its claim. This includes an annotated screenshot reportedly from Wolverine, character art, and staff passport scans. Ouch, dude! Okay, that's where... Okay. The Cyber Express reported that Rysida...
Yeah, I know what she's talking about there. That's rough. To work for your company and then now your personal information is potentially at risk here and you're at the mercy of your employer, aka Insomniac Games, whether or not they're going to resolve this without your data being out there. The other problem is with this is even if Insomniac Games does give them the $2 million, there is no guarantee that they won't go ahead and release the information anyway, or just simply, take the money and run, or what. I mean, it's in my opinion, it's a form of cyber terrorism. It really is. And I don't know what the solution here really is. I know I've got several different ideas that they could possibly do. One could be that Insomniac Games just decides to kind of take the lead out of the balloon and go ahead and make a trailer and release all the information about the Wolverine game. But my concern is there's still about the other information, the employees' passports and the government documents, like probably W-2s and things like that. That's personal information. What do you do about that? I don't know. I mean, there's also the possibility that maybe they can get the cybercrime division of the FBI involved, which probably is already involved, where or not they got, 7 days is not a lot of time to track down hackers, especially if these guys are any good. And it sounds like to me they've been around for a while, and they haven't been caught. Doesn't mean that they can't be caught. Just means that they are ahead of the curve. They know what they're doing, which makes them even all more the dangerous. Because if they can do this to Insomniac Games, who else could they do this to? And this may be just because they want to get financial gain from this, holding a game developer ransom for this. But what if they decide to take it to the next level, which who knows what that might be, but it could be far worse than this. Anyway.
Is now selling the data for 50 Bitcoin, or around $2 million, with a 7-day deadline. The implication is that the hackers will release the stolen data if it does not receive payment before the end of its self-imposed deadlines. What are the images in question here? I mean, we've already seen that. I don't know about this one. I don't remember it. Okay. Cyber attacks are of increasing concern to tech companies, with the video game industry suffering a number of breaches in recent years. In 2020, yeah, we know this. Also, I mean, let's not forget The Last of Us 2. I mean, all the cutscenes were leaked from that ahead of time. Even, what was that, last year? There was some GTA leaks because of hackers or something like that. All right, so here.
Yeah, and recently there was, like you mentioned, GTA 6 made by Rockstar Studios. They had some people hack them and released kind of like a rough cut of the trailer. So Rockstar's solution was they just went ahead of time and released the trailer they had made, finished it up, and released it the following day. Kind of took the wind out of their sails. In that situation, though, I don't think there was any type of ransom, monetarily ransom involved or anything like that. I don't know. I haven't looked into that. I just found this one interesting because I like the Marvel Spider-Man games. I do like, I haven't played the Spider-Man 2 because I don't have a PS5, but I've played the first one as well as Miles Morales and was looking forward to the Wolverine game as well, provided it doesn't go woke like some of the parts of Spider-Man 2 have from what I've seen. But I'm primarily a PC gamer, so I don't really play a lot of these on console. But anyway.
Here's my opinion on this kind of thing. First of all, don't pay them. This, to me, should be a common sense thing. Do not pay them. That incentivizes these hackers. What would more appropriately be a better way to handle this is don't pay them and try to get take care of this legally. I know it's easier said than done when it comes to hackers and that sort of thing. But if they can, because it sends a message, right? So if these hackers get paid $2 million, which I would never in a million years see Sony actually bowing down to that. But
yeah, I don't think they would either.
In this case, Insomniac, Sony, whatever.
The only wild card in this, though, is it's actually Sony employees' data out there as well, not just things about the game. But I kind of agree with her that I think it'd be a bad idea to pay them, because it sets a precedence. It says, okay, Sony and them are chumps, and they could do this again to them.
I don't see that happening, but if it did, all this would do would incentivize hackers to try to hack more, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly. 100%
I don't see
agree.
that happening. However, I think what a huge issue we have here is because when it comes to just video game assets, things like that, I know a lot of companies, it's pretty devastating for these companies when they get their games leaked and things like that, or information about their games leaked. But that being said, I don't think that it necessarily even hurts as bad as it. And it really depends, but I don't think it entirely hurts as bad as one would think. I mean, look at The Last of Us 2. All of the leaks there, and supposedly it's sold incredibly well, but I mean, I don't know the actual numbers and data on that. But if it didn't sell as well as they're implying, which I think is the case, I don't think it's due to the nature of the leaks. I don't think the leaks are at fault here. To me, it's it sucks, but it's not the end of the world if stuff gets leaked, especially earlier on in development, that it's going to be more polished as they release more information and stuff. I don't think it's the end of the world personally.
Yeah, I don't think the game part of it's not the part that I'm really concerned about that much, because if it does get leaked, big deal. I'm more concerned about the fact that they have employees' personal information and data. that right there is a little bit more concerning for me, because you're talking about people's livelihoods, their identities, which identity theft is run rampant and has been for years in this country, and across the world, actually.
Anytime that something has gotten leaked for things that I like Tomb Raider, for example, then, I mean, back when I actually liked Tomb Raider before they ruined it, I would get excited. I'd be all about it. Let's see those leaks. I remember people telling me ahead of time.
Yeah, she's big on playing Tomb
things
Raider.
that were going to be in upcoming Tomb Raider games because they had some
But
sort
Tomb
of
Raider's
insider
kind of gone
knowledge,
woke.
and I was made aware of
And
some
she's
of
not
that.
happy
And
about it.
It was actually real, but that didn't make me not want to play it. That actually made me more excited for it at the time. So I don't know. It really depends. It does make it difficult for them to control their own narrative on how they want to announce it and how they want it to be viewed and all that sort of thing. However, this is where I feel like the biggest problem is when you have a security threat with your employees. Passport scans, yikes. Now, that makes me wonder if something like that were to be pushed out, if they were to dox these employees, then, would there be a case for a civil suit or something like that? I would be very, very curious about that, for not having that protected enough.
I would think so, but the problem is finding these hackers to prosecute them.
Get a hold of things. Yeah, it's just what it is. Now, speaking about Insomniac and Wolverine, I mean, this is just. I adore open world games when they're done correctly and when they're done right.
So do I.
When they're done well. But when they have like such a heavy modern gaming treatment to them, that I kind of check out. That's why I have no desire to play Spider-Man 2.
The message!
Spider-Man 2.
What she's talking about.
The other Spider-Man and the Spider-Man, their Miles Morales game, right? I played a bit of it when I first got my PS5. I was like, oh, this is fun, yay! And then as I continued, I was like, well, you know what? This kind of has every problem I have with modern day gaming. Just where the main focus is just on the story, all the stuff on the screen telling you what to do, all the characters blabbering all the time. Hey, I need you to do this. I need you to go here and do this. Hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Little small talk going on. You can never just fully immerse yourself in the game because characters won't shut up. Or if you're trying to figure out something
agree.
in the game,
they yap too much.
Anything more than 5 seconds,
and they're always yapping about the message nowadays.
I should check that window over there. I hate that, and not to mention QTEs. I hate it. Also hate set pieces, scripted set pieces. Not a fan. So for that reason, now when I first heard of, they're gonna make a Wolverine open world game, that I might like because. It's going to be more, with it being more Wolverine based, it should be more dark, And so
you would think.
Aesthetic wise, it probably would appeal to me more than a Spider-Man open world game would. However, because I am so over the mainstream AAA formula, and given Insomniac's track record as of late with the Spider-Man games and the Miles Morales game, I'm just, kind of checked out. So that's my take on that. But who knows? Like, what if the hackers show stuff from the game and it actually caught my interest? And I'm like, hey, I might actually get this game. I don't see that happening, but you never know. But anyway, I mean, this is hackers, these kind of people. I just want to see them. And regardless of how I feel about Insomniac and what they're doing with their games currently and all that kind of stuff, regardless, or Sony, this, that, or the other, regardless of the criticisms and the problems I have with them, I do not like to see this kind of stuff happening. Me
either. I agree.
But especially here in the gaming industry, all that kind of stuff, and especially when you've got employees involved and their passports are being scanned in this case.
Yeah, and we got another video that she just did also about the woke stuff that's in the Insomniac Spider-Man 2. We're going to watch that one next after this. because it kind of feels like it ties into it. Even though this is about the hacking part of it, it's still about Insomniac and about that particular gaming group or that developer, I mean. And they are, I don't know if they're real 100% woke, but they do have woke in them. That developer group does. It has been evident since the Miles Morales game came out. By the way, Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and Miles Morales is Miles Morales. And in my opinion, Ben Reilly is the Scarlet Spider.
It's a security issue. It's dangerous. And it's just giving it gives these kind of people too much power whenever you bend the knee to them. So I don't like it because these kind of people they will also go after people online as well. Make a tweet that they don't like and they're after you.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So
100%
I don't like
agree.
it. I would love to see people like this, groups like this, get punished, get found out and get punished to a pretty big degree, like jail time, all that kind of stuff, like extensive jail time, because this is just, it's turning into hacker bullying, and I'm not about it. So anyway, there you have it for this video today. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to read your Bible today, and if you want to hear me read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel, Bible Time with Melonie.
Link to that.
Thank you all again for watching.
In the description
I'll catch you
as
next
well.
time. And in the meantime, go boom. Miles Morales.
Yes, he is. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. All right, let's watch the other one here that she had. Mary Jane was a self-insert in Spider-Man 2. This is some of the stuff that a lot of the games in the gaming industry recently I've seen more and more are going woke. Kind of one of the reasons why, I'll be honest with you, that the last few years, that's why I still kind of love No Man's Sky, because it's not even gotten close to that. Sean Murray and his group, I don't think they care about that. All they care about is making a good game. And I can't wait for Light No Fire as well. Man, that game just really, really, really just gets my feathers all ruffled and ready to go. I want to slap some fish pretty badly. Anyway. So let's watch what Melonie's got to say about Mary Jane, which, by the way, they changed the looks of Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2. I watched a streamer play a little bit of this, and she doesn't look right. It's not even close to what she's like in the comics. I mean, Mary Jane in the comics is, well, she's a hot redhead that Peter likes. Now, I can't really tell that difference because I'm a penguin. All humies to me look the same. But all I know is that in the comics, in the comic books, when you read about Spider-Man and Peter Parker, he thinks she's a hot redhead. So, in this game, I think in Spider-Man 2, this is one of the social justice warriors developers at Insomniac that decided to insert herself in the game. See, that's rather narcissistic. Anyway.
The internet did it. The internet Scooby Squad mystery machine has solved the mystery of what the heck happened to Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2 and why she looks, let's just say, not so much like a model anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into the video. First, I pulled this up on Twitter. First, I just wanted to show you guys this. My parents' cow had a baby last night. Daisy and
well, there
Peach.
You go.
Aren't they so cute? I'm going to go see them soon. Anyway, let's get back into the video. So, The mystery is solved.
Oh my
So
goodness.
here we have manga lawyer.
Are you
made this
kidding
tweet.
me?
They said, Insomniac writer of Spider-Man 2. All conclusions and arguments directed to notice patterns are reserved for Twitter users, and under no circumstance I'm claiming this is a self-insert. Let me move my face.
Look at that. Sure
Sure
looks like a self-insert.
Oh my, what? You know, I don't understand. This is not even the first time we've seen this year. I mean, for once, this is actually a biological female, so there's something. But earlier, and I reported on this too on this channel, with the Fable character looked like a self-insert from, I believe, a writer who was a transgender LARPing individual. So,
well, there
this
you go.
has happened before. I don't know how that makes sense, how a writer and not an artist himself is going to sneak in a little self-insert, but come on. This is pretty dadgum conclusive, is it not?
I'll tell you this much. She kind of looks like she did that. Like this is a, I mean, look. The eyebrows even look the same. Colors of the eyes are a little bit different. Well, it's kind of hard to tell what color her eyes are. Maybe they are like a hazel. Because they look hazel, brownish green here. But look, even the smile is half cocked. Lower on this side, higher on this side, lower on this side, higher on this side. Same type of nose shape. Come on. Even the face wrinkles when she smiles. And the hair. Tell me this isn't her in the game. Now, I do agree, granted, she's actually a biological woman. That's great. Because in the past, it's been like a transmission type person, LARPing. But still, the sheer narcissism of this, I just don't understand. It's like, it'd be one thing if you created a character based on you in the game, but to replace a known character in the comics, Mary Jane Watson, with yourself, what's that say about you as a person? Does that say that you're the type of person here that feels like you are a model? That you are someone that's worthy of Peter Parker? I don't know. I don't know this person. She's not ugly, but at the same time, she's also not downright stunning. But then again, I'm a penguin. What do I know? All humans look the same. So, but it's clear that a lot of the complaints about the Spider-Man 2 game that came out were about the way Mary Jane looks. That she's not looking like she does in the comics. And that is the part I have an issue with. I mean, if you're just going to make them look however they want, and claim that it's who they are in the comics, that's messed up. It's just wrong. Anyway, if you want to watch the rest of that video, you can. I wasn't going to watch it all. I was just going to stop right here. But I agree with Melody. This is just kind of freaky. And like I said, go check out her YouTube channels and give her a like and subscribe and so forth. She's a good person. She's a believer. Anyway, I think at this point I'm going to go ahead and take about a good 3 or 4 minute break. And I need to go run to the little penguin's room. And I need to refresh my iced coffee as well. So I'm going to take a little break here, and I will be back shortly. So I urge you to get up, grab a fish, slap your neighbor, whatever you need to do, or if you need to go to the Little Penguin's room, to go to the Little Penguin's room. But I'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll continue on with my last subject, and we'll go from there. Okay? All right. back. So let's move on to the next subject here I want to talk about. We're going to change gears here from talking about video games and talking about Disney. And more specifically, Disney and Bob Iger and Elon Musk kind of having some type of fight going on here. They're kind of having at it, and let's get into it, shall we? Okay. Let me increase the size on this here so you can read it. The Marvels ends the box office run as lowest grossing MCU movie in history. This is an article on Variety, which there's a link of the article, of course, down in the description of this video. And it says there's nothing heroic about the final box office performance of the Marvel. Yeah, this is actually the lowest grossing MCU movie ever made so far. The superhero sequel is officially the lowest grossing installment in the history of the MCU. See? You got to say the same thing I just said. After 4 weeks on the big screen, the comic book tentpole is running out of steam with 80 million in North America and 197 million globally. There would typically be optimism that attendance could rebound over the busy holiday season. I doubt it. But Disney apparently doesn't expect that to be the case. Why they kind of pulled it out of theaters. Because it won't be reporting the film's weekend box office results any longer. The studio wrote on Sunday in a note to the press, with the Marvel's box office now winding down, we'll stop weekend reporting of international global grosses on this title. Note, this movie has only been out about a month, and it's already being pulled from the theaters. That should say something along by it. I haven't gone to see it, and to be honest with you, I don't have any desire to see it. It does say that the film isn't leaving theaters yet, but yeah, it has pulled from some of the like IMAX and other things like that it's been in. And the 220 million plus budgeted tentpole is expected to play through New Year's. However, the Smibble signals that the Marvels is not expected to generate notable coinage during the rest of December. Over the weekend, the movie tumbled to 11th place on box office charts with just 2.4 million in its fourth outing. This is written back in December 3rd, so about a week or so ago. So anyway, I'm going to read all of this to you. You can read the rest of the article if you're really interested. What I do want to do is there is another YouTube channel that I watch, that I listen to periodically, called Midnight's Edge. And I got permission from Andre, who runs Midnight Edge, which, by the way, linked down in the description again to their channel as well as this video. I encourage you to go over to the YouTube channel, check out what stuff they got. They are normally on the cutting edge of all this information. I've been watching them for years and watching their videos break down certain things. And this is one right here to where it says Elon Musk doubles down as humiliated the Marvels ends theatrical run in disgrace. So, short of the skinny, if you don't know, recently Bob Iger had made the decision that Disney was going to pull their advertising from X, Twitter, what used to be called Twitter, that Elon Musk owns. And so they kind of got into a war about things, and Elon Musk fired back using the F-bomb, but nevertheless fired back saying that he wasn't going to be bullied, he wasn't going to be held hostage. You know, if you want to pull your advertising from Twitter, then go ahead and do that. We're done with you anyway. And this is Elon Musk doubling down with what's happening over at Disney and Marvel and Star Wars and all this. So let's watch it and get into it. I'll pause it periodically because Andre makes some pretty good points here on this.
Only days after Elon Musk explicitly called out Bob Iger in front of the entire world, he doubled down, calling Disney's upcoming slate unwatchable, then adding insult to injury.
Notice right here, Elon Musk. I watch it. I look at his stuff on X, obviously. They're the world's best example of go woke, go broke. Yeah, and what kills me is Disney still wants to double down on all this stuff. If you watched the latest 60th anniversary of Doctor who Disney has financially dropped money into the BBC to help produce that, it has quadrupled down on the wokeness in it. It's almost like this company just can't get out of their own way. They can't admit that they've done something wrong, that they shouldn't have gone this direction with their company. Walt Disney is turning in his grave right now, spinning like a rotisserie about this. I have talked numerous times about Disney and just what they are doing with not just Star Wars, but with Marvel, with everything they touch. They make it 100% woke. They just make it crash, pushing, as always, the message. Instead of actually just having a good story, all they want to do is talk about identity politics or pushing their narrative on us. I don't know about you, but this little penguin is tired of constantly being yelled at by a company I used to love about what I need to believe and what I don't need to believe, and that if I don't believe that, then I am the R word, or I'm stupid, or I'm ignorant, or they hate me, or the stuff's not made for me. I'm just so tired of it. I feel like Bob Iger and them have lost their mind. I don't know if it's a pride issue at this point. This has been going on too far. It's going to go to the point eventually to where this company is going to go down in flames, and then in 5-10 years, Disney may not even exist anymore, which is really a sad thing. Anyway.
This weekend's box office came out, further proving Elon Musk right. Audiences are boycotting Disney already, and it's not going to get any better.
They are boycotting with their wallet. I do want to watch the whole video on this, but we will pause it periodically and talk about things. Shout out to Andre for letting me do this, because I contacted him at Midnight's Edge just like I contacted Melonie, and he said go ahead. Just had to let people know about it. But I always do that on everything that I show here. I always promote the other person's content, because if somebody out there was wanting to use some of my videos or whatever it is, and they want to promote it, then I am perfectly okay with them wanting to use my content. I just want them to point people to my channel and let them know about this crazy little penguin that they can go check out. That's it. So I feel like I need to do the same thing. So I encourage you to go check out Midnight's Edge.
November of 2023 was the month of hell for Disney. It saw the release of the
Oh, I need to turn the profanity filter back on because I think he cusses sometimes. Well, come on, Internet. Oh, there it goes.
Only days after Elon Musk explicitly called out Bob Iger in front of the entire world, he doubled down, calling Disney's upcoming slate unwatchable. Then, adding insult to injury, this weekend's box office came out, further proving Elon Musk right. Audiences are boycotting Disney already, and it's not going to get any better. November of 2023 was the month of hell for Disney. It saw the release of The Marvels and Wish, both of which should by rights have been and needed to be among their biggest movies of the year, but which instead will lose Disney $500 million between them. After an already disastrous start, Wish dropped like a rock to 5th place in its second weekend.
Yeah, Wish was supposed to be a movie celebrating the 100 years of Disney being around, of content and everything. And instead, it's a woke disaster. I didn't see it, but I have watched other videos about the content in that movie, and it's just more of the same old junk that Disney keeps pushing on us.
Indicating that it's already dead, just like The Marvels, which Disney have now announced they will no longer be reporting the box office for, no doubt because they fear it will not be able to crack.
I didn't realize he was actually using the Variety article. That's the article I was talking about that I read a little bit.
200 million worldwide. Bob Iger appeared at the New York Times Summit though, hoping to restore confidence, but courtesy of Elon Musk, and himself, but mostly Elon Musk. That backfired rather tremendously. In this editorial, we will begin with an extended look at how Bob Iger blamed literally everyone and everything but himself for Disney's current troubles of his own making. And to this end, we'll even be comparing his recent comments with a video interview from last year, and you won't believe the extent of his gaslighting, so you don't want to miss out on that. Then we'll see how he created a new adversary in Elon Musk, and how the single greatest problem facing Disney right now is the company's own employees, whom Bob Iger himself empowered.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, Bob Iger wanted to blame Bob Chapek, but I don't think, and I made a video on some of this. There's a video out there that I made called Bob versus Bob versus Bob. But Bob Chapek, I don't think was the issue here. Bob Iger is. And I don't know if the man just got too much pride that he can't admit something's wrong now or what it is, but he just seems to keep doubling down on the same thing. He keeps saying it's everybody else's fault but me. And he's the CEO. Doesn't the buck stop with him? I mean, last I checked, the guy that is CEO of the company is the one making the decisions for the company. I used to work for Apple, and Tim Cook is the CEO of Apple, just like Steve Jobs was originally. And what Tim Cook decides to take the company in that direction with the support of his board is the direction the company goes. Same way with Disney and other companies out there as well. I just don't get it. I just don't understand this. My little penguin mind can't wrap my head around somebody like Bob Iger not seeing that they're literally burning money, that the company is going down in flames. All you have to do is just reverse course. Nobody's even going around asking for an apology, Bob. Just reverse course of what you're doing. Just, as far as I'm concerned, you don't even have to acknowledge that you messed up. Just change the company. Change what you're doing. Change who you're hiring. Change the fact that you cop keep shoving the message in our faces. Stop it. Just start going back to the way Disney used to be before you did all this junk. Anyway.
During the New York Times Steelbook Summit, Bob Iger set the record straight on a number of issues, and by setting the record straight, I mean outright obfuscating facts, rewriting history, and overall gaslight everyone in attendance, beginning with blaming Bob Chapek for everything that's wrong with Disney.
Okay, but now you're on the outside.
Right.
And you're watching.
Busy doing other things.
Doing other things, but Bob Chapek's in that role.
Yes.
And you were thinking what?
I was disappointed in what I was seeing, both during the transition period when I was still there and while I was out.
I want to add some context to Iger's words here, because the behind-the-scenes story of Chapek and Iger has been documented extensively in an explosive piece by CNBC, which we have covered in detail. See videos linked to in the description. But to bring up the relevant bits, the reason Iger was so disappointed was that he appointed Chapek to CEO with the understanding that Chapek would function as Iger's mini-me and do everything that Iger wanted in every little detail. Instead, Chapek turned out to be his own man. While he broadly did what Iger wanted, he did a few things differently, and these differences may be why, despite the pandemic, Disney's highest ever recorded share price was deep into Chapek's reign, not Iger's, and that must have stuck up Iger's craw something fierce. It certainly did not go unanswered.
Yep.
So after establishing how disappointed he was in Chapek, Iger proceeded to let everyone know what he did about it.
But I really worked hard at distancing myself from it because, one, I couldn't do anything about it. In a way, it wasn't my business at all, really. It was his business to run.
When Iger says that he distanced himself from what Chapek was doing, what he means, and which was documented by CNBC and others, was actively undermine Chapek in the C-suite, in the boardroom, among staff, and even explicitly in the press. And also...
Yeah, I think he also, this is just my little penguin theory on this. I think Iger pulled out around the time of a little bit before the Summer of Love with the 19 bug, so that he could try to preserve his legacy, so to speak, and also have a scapegoat in Bob Chapek and let him deal with the disaster of the company when the Summer of Love came about. And now that he sabotaged and did some things to make Chapek look bad, really bad, used as an excuse with the board to get him ousted and get him back reinstated. I think, to be honest with you, I think that was Iger's plan all along.
So outright sabotage him. Remember that Scarlett Johansson lawsuit? Yeah, you can thank Bob Iger for that. In fact, as was documented by CNBC, every bit of bad press Bob Chapek ever got was directly or indirectly Iger's doing. I cannot think of any other example of a sitting chairman of the board going out of his way to sabotage the CEO as badly as Iger did Chapek.
Now, why would he do that if he didn't want to take the reins back again?
Here's the kicker. For all the things Iger blames Chapek for, in vague and general terms, you'll be hard-pressed to find any specifics, because the simple fact of the matter is that Chapek did nothing wrong, outside of continuing what Iger had already started, and even that he tried to make work, and he actually succeeded as well as anyone could have, again with reference to the share price under Chapek.
Yeah, and I think there's some things that Chapek was doing correctly. And I think at one point he even was trying to right the ship and wasn't necessarily standing up against the woke mob there at Disney. But at the same time, I think he was trying to somehow make Disney profitable again. And I think, just like what Andre said earlier in this video, that I think that kind of stuck in Iger's craw, that he didn't want that happening. Kind of like JPEG was starting to steal his thunder.
Of course, Iger does not bring that up. Instead, JPEG is being scapegoated for pretty much everything wrong with Disney. But since I hedged with pretty much, that means there's more blame to go around for Disney's current woes. Iger blames COVID and he blames streaming, but Warner and Universal had big theatrical hits despite that, so what is different at Disney?
Yeah, he blames Disney Plus and the Summer of Love, and of course, none of this is his fault. Even though he's the one who started the ball on this, because he's the one that went around buying properties, buying Star Wars, buying Marvel, buying the X-Men from Fox, type thing.
Nothing is obviously Iger's fault, so next in line to get blamed were Disney's own creatives.
In our particular case, and specifically about those films, some of those films, they were not as good, they were not as high in quality, not every one that you mentioned, as some of their predecessors, our films, and as they should have been, particularly in this environment.
Why do you think that was?
Well, The Marvels was shot during COVID. There wasn't as much supervision on the set, so to speak, where we have executives there really looking over what's being done day after day after day.
So is Iger suggesting that creatives need oversight? Film
Apparently.
certainly did not take kindly to Iger's words, and are borderline accusing him of racism over the implication that the Marvels director Nia DaCosta needed oversight. That's Iger losing his own base right there, even the one suffering from JPEG derangement syndrome, something Film most definitely does. But about that supervision, isn't the studio heads like Kevin Feige enough? Because he's the one really being thrown under the bus here. Evidently, the likes of Kevin Feige is not enough. It is funny then that the decision that Iger has riled on JPEG the most for was establishing DMED, a new division that very specifically would have been tasked with overseeing creatives to ensure that what they were doing would resonate with the marketplace.
Imagine that. That he was actually trying. Like I said, I honestly think JPEG at some point was just trying to make Disney profitable again. And stuck in a bad situation trying to make the best of it. Was he perfect at it? No. But Iger coming in and really kind of saying, trying to sabotage all of it, and saying that he's the reason all this went bad, I don't think that really holds water. I think this whole thing started with Iger in the first place. And for Iger to step in and say that the creatives didn't have any supervision, and that's the reason why, like, the Marvels was so bad. Last I checked, long before that, the Marvels, the MCU was going great for years, like 10 years, under the supervision of Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers. So if that's the case, then what was Kevin Feige doing in all this? Was he actually, is Iger saying that Kevin Feige wasn't doing anything either? Like Andre was saying that he threw him under the bus as well? Or is he just making one excuse after another for Iger starting this whole ball rolling downhill?
Too bad that the first thing Iger did upon his return was abolish it, returning power to the very creatives that evidently cannot be trusted.
And that was a result of mostly of
that?
COVID, but at the same time, we increased our output tremendously to feed the streaming platforms. Too much, by the way.
Mistake.
Definite mistake. You know, quality needs attention to deliver quality. It's not doesn't happen by accident. And quantity, in our case, diluted quality. And Marvel suffered greatly from that.
Yeah, Disney just kept, I mean, look how many different Marvel shows we had that came out ever since Disney Plus started. And most of them are didn't really push the needle forward in most cases. It's like it was, here's content, consume it. Here's content, consume it. Here's content, consume it. And it's just filler between the last MCU movie and the next one that's coming out. Nothing major happening in the actual series. Just something to have on the platform for you to watch. Which, that's just kind of like letting the ice melt in an iced coffee. The iced coffee becomes diluted after a certain point. Which is really sad, because iced coffee shouldn't be diluted. It should be good tasting. Should be able to get a buzz off of it. Speaking of which, zip them if you got them.
Here it should be noted that the movies and series that were so bad for Marvel were the uber woke and diverse movies and series that the entertainment media complex were fawning over when they were first released. That brings us to Iger's second issue with the creatives, so let's set the stage for that.
Yeah.
Audiences around the world have now lost faith in the Disney brand, as it explicitly promotes a brand of messaging bordering on social engineering that the overwhelming majority of the world's population are not in agreement with. Jeremy Boring, co-founder of the Daily Wire,
Yeah, I don't know about you, but this little penguin, when I go to watch a movie, especially if I paid, the prices are expensive nowadays, paid to go see a movie, or gone through the expense of doing that, or wanting to watch something, last thing I want is some type of ideology shoved down my throat. Or some political agenda that especially I don't agree with, saying this is what you need to believe, this is what you need to do. If you don't, then you're the reason we got bad content. Like I really had anything to do with how the Marvels was made, for example. You kidding me? Really? That's just stupid. It's blaming the fans for content that you created. You're the one that's causing the problem. I don't know about you, but I know most people are checked out from Disney now because all they wanted to do for years when they saw Disney, they thought, okay, this is just good, clean fun. It's something that we can all go see as a family, or it has a good story, sometimes even moral stories in them. But now everything that's coming out is just blah. It's bland. It's riddled with the message. And it's all they want to do is continue to push their agenda. It's more important than anything else they do. And until that changes, I don't see Disney recovering from any of this. Anyway, let's continue on.
Recently appeared on Patrick Bet-David's Valuetainment and put the problem far more verbosely than I ever could. So before we move on with Iger, let's just hear what he has to say.
But I think the biggest problem that they have, and I know this from many, many incredibly gifted people within Disney with whom I've spoken over the last year, they fired everyone who knows how to engage in traditional storytelling without all of this woke nonsense in it.
Yeah,
they created
shocker.
Such a bubble over there that even if Bob Iger does say, if Bob Iger came out today and said, we're not even going to release the crap, we're going to take the hit, and then starting on a day 3 years from today, we're going to relaunch Disney. He doesn't have the team to do it. He said recently, you know, we've waded too far into politics, and now we're gonna not pick these controversial political fights anymore. The people actually working for him who have to effectuate that plan do not know the difference between the controversial things they believe and the uncontroversial things that they believe, because they exist within a company that's a bubble, within an industry that is a bubble, within a city that's a bubble, within a state that's a bubble. That entire, well documented.
It's because they're not really creatives, they're activists. That's who Disney has been hiring the last several years. And now, like he's saying, that's all they've got over there. They got rid of anybody that even knew how to do traditional story writing.
The right understands the left. We disagree, but we understand. The left does not understand the right. The left does not understand themselves.
The left doesn't want to understand the right. They want everybody to believe the way they believe. That's the heart of wokeness. It's a post-modernism ideology on steroids.
Disney has engaged in the greatest act of brand suicide that has probably ever happened in recorded history. The most beloved brand, the most goodwill, with the most important people, parents, on behalf of the most vulnerable people,
100%
children.
agree.
We trust Disney for 3 consecutive generations. We as adults trust Disney with our children. Disney helped shape the worldview of every single adult in this country. We trusted them so much that we gave them tax breaks all over the country, like all the goodwill that came their way because they were so unique. And they created the greatest content library ever assembled in all of human history. And then they squandered it.
Yep.
Clearly, Disney's own employees are liabilities, which would be why Chapek instated the DMED structure for the explicit purpose of keeping them in check and on the mission of pleasing audiences for the purpose of making Disney money. But Iger abolished DMED after Chapek had greenlit only one movie under it, namely Deadpool 3. So now, how is Iger going to be able to keep his own employees, nearly all of whom are as woke as it gets, in check? Let's see what Iger had to say.
I think what had happened over a period of time, it was building and building, and maybe I think it reached a peak of some sort while I was gone, is that creators lost sight of what their number one objective needed to be. Often when we entertain, and we've entertained as a company over the 100 years we've been in business, we have entertained with values and having a positive impact on the world in many different ways. I'd use Black Panther as a great example of that, just in terms of fostering acceptance, or the movie Coco, which Pixar did about the Day of the Dead. I like being able to do that. Entertain, and if you can infuse it with positive messages and have a good impact on the world, fantastic. But that should not be the objective. When I came back, what I have really tried to do is to return to our roots, which is, remember, we have to entertain first. It's not about messages. If you can do, again, if your story can have a positive impact, so there's that. And I've worked hard since I've been back at reminding the creative community, who are our partners, in some cases our employees, that that's the objective. And
I don't know if I buy that. I don't believe a word you're saying, Bob Iger. A bunch of hogwash and baloney to me. Or a bunch of hogs washing a bunch of baloney. Anyway, nevertheless, you're saying that you were trying to tell your creatives that they need to be telling a good story and that the message is secondary? I don't buy it. That's not what's happening. You can say it all you want, but actions speak louder than words.
And I don't really want to tolerate the opposite.
That's what Iger is saying now, after a year of non-stop woke failures. Now he's blaming the creatives for being woke, and he, Bob Iger, is letting them know that story comes first. But this is a massive flip-flop, because Iger is the one who hired and enabled these activists and cultural revolutionaries in the first place. Illustrating that, here is what Bob Iger told Disney's own woke employees when he returned 1 year ago.
Some of the subjects that have proven to be controversial as it relates to Disney have been branded political, and I don't necessarily believe they are. I don't think when you are telling stories and attempting to be a good citizen of the world that that's political. This company has been telling stories for 100 years. And those stories have had a meaningful, positive impact on the world. And one of the reasons they've had a meaningful, positive impact is because one of the core values of our storytelling is inclusion and acceptance and tolerance. And we can't lose that. We just can't lose that. I think about Black Panther and the impact that had on the world, or a film like Coco. I mean, I could go on, and how we actually changed the world for the good. It must continue.
But now, 1 year and billions in losses later, let's see one more time what Iger has to say now.
When I
Yeah.
came back, what I've really tried to do is to return to our roots, which is, remember, we have to entertain first. It's not about messages. If you can do, again, if your story can have a positive impact, so there's that. And I've worked hard since I've been back at reminding the creative community, who are our partners, in some cases our employees, that that's the objective. And I don't really want to tolerate the opposite.
Gee, Bob, you're not consistent. I'm not talking about this penguin, Bob. I'm talking about Bob Iger. A year ago, he says one thing and then says something completely different this time. That's because Bob's not taking responsibility for what he's been doing. He just wants to pass the buck and blame the creatives. The same creatives he hired that are activists, the same ones that he started the ball rolling with this message of wokeness. And now he's wanting to turn around and blame them when he's the one that started it in the first place. Go figure.
Everybody got that? It's the employees' fault that they are woke. It definitely wasn't Iger. All of this
Right.
is handy ammunition for Elon Musk though, so let's move on to him.
Yes. The thing about this is Musk is calling Bob Iger out on this stuff. He's holding his feet to the fire. And it's wonderful to see.
Before we move on, some background is prudent. Back in the days of the Soviet Union, the official newspaper of the Supreme Communist Party was Pravda, and it declared what was true, what was disinformation the citizenry were required to ignore, who was in vogue and who was on the list at any given time, and most importantly, which opinions were acceptable to have and to express. Well, thanks to the Twitter files, we now know that the old pre-Elon Musk Twitter was, for all intents and purposes, the modern-day Pravda. There was no free speech there. It was never any kind of public marketplace, soapbox, or other speaker's corner, as any voice deemed unacceptable was silenced and...
Yeah, see, if Twitter wasn't like what he's talking about here, before Elon Musk bought it and brought it back to being a free speech platform, then explain why so many people were canceled, naming, well, like Trump, Alex Jones, several YouTubers and content creators that didn't agree with the blue-haired liberals that are out there on Twitter. That also, by the way, I might add, had a breakdown and started losing their marbles when they found out that Elon Musk had bought Twitter, now called X. But anyway.
And artificially deboosted, while the approved narrative was not only artificially made trending, it was augmented with bots. In fact, referencing my good friend and fellow Midnight's Edge in the Morning panelist Paul Chatto's recent video on where the heck is this modern audience Hollywood has been pandering to for several years now. If Hollywood did their market research based on what was trending on Twitter, they made their movies for an audience comprised almost exclusively of bots. But that aside, in removing the modern-day Pravda, Elon Musk made a lot of very powerful people very off at him, and they will take him and X, his significantly more free Twitter, down by any means necessary. Cue the George Soros-funded Media Matters. Media Matters, allegedly, and in not so many words, used robots and bots over the course of weeks in order to orchestrate a limited number of instances where advertisements appeared next to unsavory content. Then they waited for Musk to say something that could be misconstrued in the worst way possible, which he eventually did, and ironically, it was a tweet that Musk later implied was a dig at none other than George Soros, who does fund groups that want to free a certain area situated between a river and a sea of a certain proportion of its population. And then Media Matters sent a black PR package to all of X's biggest advertisers who promptly cut their funding, since Elon Musk reportedly can prove that the instances Media Matters reported were in fact provoked and orchestrated by them. A lawsuit has been filed. Meanwhile, Disney were among those who instantly dropped all their advertisements, to which Iger said,
"We know Elon is larger than life in many respects, and that his name is very much tied to the companies he either has founded or he owns, whether it's Tesla, or SpaceX, or now X. And by him taking the position that he took in quite a public manner, we just felt that the association with that position and Elon Musk and X was not necessarily a positive one for us, and we decided we would pull our advertising."
Now, see, this, to me, this is kind of like the equivalent of two neighbor kids playing, and one of them gets upset at the other one and says, "Well, I'm going to take my toys and go home." And that's exactly what Bob Iger is doing, because he doesn't like the direction that Elon Musk has decided to take X, that Elon Musk is trying to get it back to a free speech platform. Matter of fact, he just recently reinstated Alex Jones' account on X, because the current owner of the previous owner of X, before Elon Musk bought it, had him banned off the platform because he didn't agree with some of the things he was saying, because it didn't line up with the woke left, basically. Which, by the way, Bob Iger is a part of. He is very woke in his ideology. He's the one who started all this with Disney, and then is continuing to kind of double down on all this. It doesn't want to give up, even though he's claiming to blame the creatives here. The buck always stops with the CEO. I mean, are you trying to tell me that the inmates are running the asylum and you have no control over your own employees? Well, if that's the case, you need to be fired. And you need to get somebody in there that can lead the employees, which, to be honest with you, I don't think this is the case. I think he's leading the employees the direction he wants them to go. And now things are getting so bad, he's trying to come on Dealbook Summit here to try to save face with Disney, a PR thing, try to save his legacy and try to blame the creatives or anybody else but himself for causing this whole problem.
We are now allowing entities at the company to use X as a platform to communicate. ABC News is a good example of that. ESPN, another. We use it.
But do you anticipate this is forever?
I haven't readdressed it since the decision was made.
So, in other words, Disney will signal their virtue by no longer paying for advertising on X.
Yeah.
But Disney's brands will still be there and promote their stuff through usual engagement. So we're not dealing with anything bad enough that Disney saw fit to end that. And then, shortly after Iger's interview had concluded, it was Elon Musk's turn to take to the stage, where he shared his thoughts on the likes of Disney not completely having closed the doors to advertising on X again.
There was advertisers leaving.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the profanity filter catches this, because he uses the F word a couple times. And I apologize right up front if the profanity filter doesn't catch it. I'm hoping it does. Regardless of the profanity, I do agree with what Elon Musk, the gist of it, what he said was he felt like this was Disney's way of trying to strong arm Elon Musk to let them come back and do what they want on the platform, and which is basically control the narrative. In other words, I'll take my toys and go home if you don't play the way I want you to play.
Even we talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go.
But.
Go.
There you
is
go.
That fair? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
He then clarified his position on those who would virtue signal.
We were talking about power and influence, and
I'm saying what I care about is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil.
Yeah.
Okay?
And addressing Disney specifically, I imagine he found Bob Iger in the audience and stared right at him as he relayed that the court of public opinion would not be on Disney's side if X were to be shut down over this.
And I just wonder and ask you and think about that for a second.
Tell it to the judge.
But the judge is going to be...
The judge is the public.
And you think that the public is going to say that Disney is making a mistake?
Yes.
And they're going to boycott
I agree.
Disney?
They already are.
Yeah, they already are.
There are some that are for lots of different reasons.
No, Mr. Interviewer whose name Elon Musk got wrong. It is not some that boycott Disney. They just announced that they won't report on the Marvel's box office numbers anymore. Probably because it won't crack 200 million worldwide. And
like I was reading that article. Why would Disney pull the Marvels? I mean, this movie's only been out a month. And yes, it's going to play to the end of the year, but it looks like they're probably going to pull it from theaters after that. Why? Because it's not doing anything. People aren't going to see it. They are boycotting with their wallet. Apathy has set in with the general public and even I already know with the geek and nerd culture, it's already been there for a long time. But now the normies, those that don't get into comic books, but go because it's a cool movie to see, that they have been the last 10 years seeing Marvel movies, and then with Disney, the way they've been doing it after Endgame, and just been tanking everything and pushing the message in it, people are done. People are tired of watching this, and they're not going to pay for it to see it just to go and not watch a good story, but to be preached at, to be told that what they believe is wrong, and that they need to have transmission people in their lives, and that all white people are bad, and all men are bad, and all this stuff that they are pushing with the identity politics and the overall message. People don't want to go hear that. I don't know about you, but I'm fed up of listening to it. I have started watching older content. Have been for some time now. I've been rewatching things that I love that maybe I haven't seen. Like I just got through watching all 5 seasons of Fringe. I just finished it up. Why would I be interested in continuing to watch something that has the message in it, when I can watch all this good content from years ago that's still around, still able to watch? Anyway.
Wish is shaping up to do as poorly. The Disney boycott is real, and it isn't going away.
It is.
This whole debacle was followed by an increase in Premium X memberships and a decline in Disney Plus subscriptions, though only Disney knows how many. Realizing this though, Musk later doubled down.
Here we go.
First, Musk pointed out Disney's hypocrisy with a visual presentation of problematic content relative to user base on some other major social media platforms that Disney still pay to advertise on. And
I think this is funny to watch Elon Musk on X with all this. He just does not pull any punches. He's going right for the jugular with Bob Iger. So then, why is Disney boycotting X, yet spending millions on other platforms like TikTok and Instagram? And look what they're pulling. They're pulling their advertising from X, but yet not from these other places. Seems a little double standard. It's because because Elon refuses to play their game. He refuses to go back to let them to control the narrative. It's okay, you want to go home and take your toys? Go home and take your toys. I'll play with Johnny next door instead.
Based on that, it would appear Disney made a bad decision here. Then, after Scott Adams pointed out that cancel Disney Plus and cancel Hulu was trending, Musk stated, Disney has a major content problem. Almost their entire upcoming slate is unwatchable.
You got that
they
right.
They are the world's biggest example of go broke, LOL.
Go woke, go broke.
And the content, of course, is indeed Disney's big problem. As we've seen earlier in this video, the big problem facing Disney is that near all the good people are gone and only the activists remain. Recently, Film Threat's Chris Gore, a regular guest on our Monday Midnight's Edge in the Morning streams, alongside his partner in crime, Alan Ng, have revealed the toxic culture of fear that reign within Disney, where anyone expressing a point of view not sufficiently
Shout out to Chris Gore. He's another creative that I reached out to him, and he let me stream for 11 weeks the Star Wars on Trial thing that he did for Film Threat channel on YouTube, that he did the Critics Court, which he's going to be doing also again at the beginning of the year for the next franchise that they're going to put on trial, that of Star Trek. And I will also do a rewatch and commentary on it as well. But anyway, I've been knowing about Chris Gore ever since G4 TV. Not the latest iteration of G4 with Frost and everything. Talking about the old G4 back in the early 2000s.
Stream left can expect a call from HR, and before long, a pink slip. Things are so bad that staff won't even work on projects that aren't all-out propaganda. If Iger intends to change that, he's gonna have to fire 10 times as many as he has so far. Yep. Iger may try to shift the blame to everyone and everything else, but in reality, this is all on him. He has made Disney a place where there's no magic and creativity goes to die, and that makes him the worst CEO Disney has ever had.
Got that right.
Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments.
100%. It's all his fault. The buck stops with the CEO. Even the board holds him accountable. I haven't watched it, but I saw another video somebody's released. I forget who it is now. That is talking about supposedly, it may have been Benny Johnson, that the shareholders and board members are starting to pull out of Disney. Well, the shareholders have been pulling out for some time. All because they're abandoning a dying ship. I mean, they're going to go down in the flames with them all the way. And unless they course correct, which I don't really think Bob Iger wants to. I don't think he'll admit that he did all this, and that it's his fault. Because so far he's had several opportunities to take responsibility and take the blame for this and course correct. But I think secretly this is the direction he wants this company to go. He wants to keep pushing the agenda, pushing the message, and wanting Disney to be the focal point of every story, everything that they produce, to have the focal point being the message. But as they're already seeing, people don't want to hear it. They don't want to deal with this junk. They would rather watch something else. And I don't blame them, because I'm right there with them. So, last thing here, I'll switch gears here. I want to share something with you. And it's found in the Bible. I thought this was kind of appropriate for the holiday season, for Christmas. So with all the stuff that we're seeing happening in pop culture, and with Disney and the world and the prices, and with Biden's economy and all that stuff, some of it can kind of get you all down and kind of tear you apart. But I want you to remind you of what this holiday season is really about. They call it Christmas for a reason. It's because about Christ, about Jesus. And I had this in my devotional just this morning, and I thought I'd share it with you. It's called Come. And it's based off the song, O Come, Emmanuel. It's that Christmas song that was made like in the 12th century, I think. It's an older one. Don't worry, this little penguin's not going to sing it for you. I don't want your ears to bleed. But nevertheless, I want to share this with you. It's based off of Psalm 95, verse 6. It says, O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. And it says this: if you're feeling overwhelmed or exhausted, come to Jesus. If you're feeling grateful or expecting, come. If you're feeling joyful or grievous, confident or doubtful, encouraged or frustrated, come to Jesus. Oh, come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. There's something about falling on our faces before the one who created us, for God, and everything that exists that reminds us of who He is and who we are not. When was the last time you stopped in your car, or stopped in your kitchen, or in the rushing around to grabbing presents, or making all these holiday plans, or just simply in your humanness, to simply stop for a moment and come to God? When you notice a gorgeous sunset, come to Jesus. When you can't see through your tears, come to Jesus. When you're captivated by a child's smile, come to Jesus. When you're overwhelmed by bad news, things aren't going good in your life, come to Jesus. When you're motivated to make an impact in this world, come to Jesus. When you're deflated and depressed beyond words, come to Jesus. Come to the Lord your Maker, because He has already come to you. And actually, that's exactly what we celebrate around Christmas, is that the God of the universe, the God that made the heavens and the stars, and the God that's made you and me, and made everything we see and know, that same very God stepped down out of heaven and was born in a little town called Bethlehem 2,000 years ago. The greatest gift the world has ever known. And it's the reason why we give gifts, to celebrate the greatest gift we got. That Jesus came to us first. God came to us first. So I'm encouraging you during this holiday season, just take a moment, maybe pause right where you're at, no matter what's going on in your life, be it good, bad, or indifferent, and just pause and think about that Jesus came as the most important gift for Christmas. He is the reason for this season. And he came for you and he came for me. And all he asks is for us to simply come to him. So there you go. That's a good thought for today. I hope that somehow something I talked about today in this Penguin Thoughts podcast has maybe encouraged you, or more than likely probably discouraged you with the way this crazy world has gone. But be encouraged in the fact that a loving God has come to us in this day and age to be born in the city of David, Bethlehem, a Savior. Greatest gift we could ever receive this holiday season is not Aunt Ruth's ugly sweater or that reused and regifted fruitcake, but the greatest gift is Jesus. All right, people, I'm out of here, and I just wanted to say Merry Christmas, and then I gotta leave because Rochester the goat, he's making fig pudding again. He's allergic to figs, and I gotta chase him around and make sure he doesn't get that, because man, he'll break out in hives. I'll spend the whole holiday season having to clean him up and keep him away from the figgy pudding. So you people, have fun, Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Later, peeps.